you own this business. The only way to grow is by letting more people know of the thing that you do. More door hangers, more good client relationships to where they're like, wow, River took care of us. That's what's going to build those long lasting relationships. So that way they can refer their friends and things like that. You might underbid yourself and be out a couple $100s, but that is the cost of the education. And so don't look at it like, oh man, I lost my shirt on this.
In the beginning, you're looking to just make sales and it's just, well, yeah, let me just service the customer on what they need. But then when you continue to grow, you're like, I need to say, okay, everyone's bi-weekly. Does everybody leave you when you force them to go weekly? And I'm like, no, they say they don't want it, but they adapt to it because the grass is going to need it. We're getting all this rain right now. If they're bi-weekly right now, there's going to be a time where there's 3 weeks they're not going to get mowed.
Exactly.
All right. So today we have River. This is a very unique story because River actually used to work for us last year and basically came in, mowed a lot of lawns, did a lot of landscaping, and basically learned the trade. And then eventually went on to bigger and better things. And now he is starting his business and becoming a true entrepreneur. So River, thanks for jumping on with us. So yeah, this is great. So if you could maybe kind of fill in the audience just as a real quick, maybe 30-second, 60-second intro of kind of like where you're at in business. And then, yeah, we can jump into the Q&As and see how I can help and Larissa can help too.
Oh man. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of just starting out my business. I got my first, I'd say first 10 customers. Yeah. I'm kind of figuring out, from trial and error. I've been watching your videos a lot as well, like these ones. So yeah, I'm kind of just in the stage where I need advice and I kind of like, some direction. I got equipment and that's kind of where I'm at. It's just I feel like running around with my head off like a chicken. So I'm just figuring stuff out. So yeah.
Welcome to Spring Rush.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Awesome. So what do you like? So like, first off, River, because I don't think I've ever asked you this. I'm curious, what made you choose lawn care? Like why go into lawn care? And then what is the end goal? Like, why do you want to start your own business? Why are you starting your own business? Like, where do you want to take this?
Yeah. No, I think the reason I chose lawn care was because I think I've been thinking about it. I think it's something that I'm just comfortable with because of your guys' good training, the landscapes, and just the selective things that you guys taught me how to do. I felt very comfortable. So that's why going into this, I felt, I had possessed enough skills, basic skills to be able to do it. So that's kind of the reason why I chose lawn care. And also I enjoy helping people. And I think my end goal in all of this is to be able to choose my own schedule, free up my own schedule, and kind of be my own boss. That's something I've always enjoyed doing. It's something I've done in the past. So it's always an adjustment trying to work for someone else and stuff. So yeah, I think the end goal is just to be able to have a sustainable business that I can either run with me working in it or in management, and be able to kind of choose my own schedule. So I think that's the end goal.
Cool. And just a quick nugget to bring people up to speed also. So River used to be a professional gamer. All right. He made money literally like playing like what was it? Which it was Fortnite, right?
Fortnite, yeah.
Game. All right. And so amazing, like just, to get to the pro level on that. There's a lot of people out there that play those. So River, I mean, you have that ability to be coached, be trained, study the craft, perfect the craft to be in the top tier percentage. And so whatever you do, I'm confident you're going to succeed because you have that ability you already have. So yeah, how can we help?
Man, don't talk me up too much. No, man. Yeah. Man, I could chat you guys up for an hour, but I'll try to be very specific with my questions. Kind of maybe like something that I've been dealing with recently. In the situation I am in right now, I did get a truck, but I'm looking to maybe get something more reasonable. And I'm wondering, do you guys have any suggestions on getting a good work vehicle? Whether that's with a drop down gate, or if that's important, what do you guys think is the best option for just starting out? one-man crew?
You got this.
That's a really good question. So, the gates that we used to have, we always went to the
Mhm.
welder. The only problem with that is that we're always waiting on the truck to get finished. They
Mhm.
do a really good quality job. I still would do it,
Mhm.
but if you're needing it to be done quickly, a better option would be the ramp rack system. Is it Green Touch? No, ramp rack system.
Yeah, I think it's a ramp.
Ramp
rack.
rack system.
Okay.
They are more expensive, but time is money. So for us, or even maybe for you in the beginning, if you're like, hey, money is more of an issue, I've got time, then I would say, hey, go find a welder that can actually do that. I'm sure you can find lots of pictures of our ramps or even ones online to try different styles. But if it's like, I need this now and I can put some money up front and have it pay itself off, then you can do the ramp rack system.
Understood.
And don't do the sport edition one if you do go that route. I've heard that it's kind of has some like issues right now.
Right.
The ramp will actually drop like kind of while you're driving. So don't do the sport edition. They got some fixing to do, I guess, on that one.
Understood. And in terms of that's good information. Thank you. And in terms of vehicles, do you guys? I know every vehicle. I mean, they're made by imperfect men. They're always going to break down at some point. But do you guys have any like kind of favorites in terms of work vehicles? Maybe like older vehicles that maybe not too much cash down. What do you guys thinking about that?
I would say just whichever one you're going to start with, like
Mhm.
whichever, like if it's going to be Ford that you get or Chevy that you get or Dodge that you get, I would just, whichever one you do go with is what I would stick with for your fleet. Because when you have to go and get like parts done or work done, it's a lot easier when you have all the same vehicle.
Okay.
We had first bought an F-150.
Mhm.
So all of our trucks are the F-150. We had bought an 8-foot bed. So all of them are an 8-foot bed.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And to kind of chime in on that too. So two things. I just texted my buddy Caleb. He's got a guy that can build those ramps for $800 out here locally.
Wow.
And it's really good quality. Little hard to get a hold of, but yeah, I mean, I would test it out. I can send you the number, and it would be a full ramp, dovetail, all that. And then as far as the trucks go, so 8-foot beds is typically what I would recommend. Just when you're doing landscaping, I think it really depends on, if you're targeting like small residential or even large residential. We typically, I mean, don't run 3 or more team man crews. So like just having the regular cab with 2 seats is more than enough. They make them where you can have like back seats and stuff like that. I don't think that's really necessary unless you need it for a specific reason. But if it's just general landscape stuff and mowing, 8-foot beds.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you think you guys would sometimes go out and do your mowing and sometimes have landscapes with you. So if you have 1 or 2 mowers in the truck and you got that debris coming in there too, I wouldn't go less than an 8-foot bed.
Messy. No, 100%. Okay. Well, cool. That's good. Second question, if that's okay. So I got the flyers. I was looking through your guys' videos and I saw, and I was actually asking Larissa, I went to Vistaprint and I'm wondering, I think I bought about like 500. And so now I have these flyers and now I'm kind of just like, I'm like, okay, I don't know where to go. I'm having a little decision dilemma. So I'm wondering if maybe you can provide me some direction on what neighborhoods to go for, and then when I'm in said neighborhoods, do I see if I see a lawn that looks kind of already serviced or taken care of, should I just skip that lawn and maybe like drive around, look for so hopefully that kind of makes sense. Is am I being selective with the flyers, and how do I find a good neighborhood that makes sense?
So you said you were servicing the Sanger area, right?
Sanger area, North Denton, kind of like Windsor area, ideally.
So I don't know all the subdivisions there, but for here around us, we usually are tailoring towards the HOA subdivisions just because they have someone that is making it mandatory to keep up with your lawn. When you start going outside the HOA subdivisions, sometimes they're getting to be bigger lawns or, there's no HOA that enforces it. So they cut their lawn maybe once a month. But I would say we prefer the HOA subdivisions. And then after that, as far as like picking specific houses, even if they look like someone's already taking care of it, or maybe they're taking care of it themselves, I would still hand out a flyer. They may have had issues with that person in the past that didn't show up and they just recently showed up. You don't, or maybe they're, they may not be happy with it, or maybe they just mowed it, but maybe they've been wanting to hire someone. So I definitely wouldn't skip those, because that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But do skip the no soliciting houses.
Yes.
Do skip the no soliciting houses. You don't want to make anyone upset. You
Yes,
know what? And if we can get their neighbors across the street to sign
Yeah.
up, and they see you out there,
Yeah.
you can get to them without soliciting to them.
Understood completely. Okay. Yeah, definitely definitely don't want to end up with jail. Okay. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. Maybe I'll ask this next question. This is something I've been struggling with. I've been watching a little bit of your guys' videos on bidding flower beds and stuff like that. I've had a couple people where they're like, I want my shrubs trimmed and stuff like that. And a common thing that I've been coming across is I've been overbidding, because I'm just like, I don't really know a number. So here's this. So I'm wondering, do you guys have maybe a good formula for someone starting out, how to price their flower beds? I've heard some people suggest an hourly rate and kind of maybe give a guesstimate, like, hey, it may take this long. What would you guys' suggestion be to me?
So I would say, think of like when you did do, the landscapes with us, is like, how long would this take you?
Yeah.
So when they're really, and I'm not even accurate 100% of the time. Like, I just misquoted one the other day where they did go over, but then I also misquoted another one where they came in way under. So I'm like, guys, how did you even do that? Like, how did you do that so fast?
Right.
But I'm not perfect either. But the whole point of it is, sorry, he keeps jumping up here. The whole point of it is, if you have this middle line, and even if you're going to overquote some or you underquote some, you still have a middle point. Okay. You just don't want to keep going. You don't want to keep going under all the time
I see what you're saying.
and then lose out. So it's not going to be perfect. Don't beat yourself up on it not being perfect. Just remember that for the next time. If they're like, oh man, okay, where did I go wrong on that quote? Was it number of mulch? Was it budgeted hours? What was it that made it take longer? So that way, the next time you quote one like that, you can know. Don't be too hard. It's not going to be perfect in the beginning, especially the beginning.
For sure. Yeah, I think I'll get caught up in that sometime.
Yeah, and to add to that, River, so that is kind of the cost of education, right? In the beginning, you don't know, like, I mean, obviously, maybe you know how to trim bushes and pull weeds, but if the guy's like, hey, I want the sod installed. Well, you didn't really do sod at our location, right? So like the cost of the education part of learning to do the job, you might underbid yourself and be out a couple $100 like that. But that is the cost of the education, of real life education. And so don't look at it like, oh man, I lost my shirt on this, which it stinks. And you don't want to do that. Try to watch as many videos and try to get, or FaceTime, or like maybe take a video and just send it to me and be like, hey, I'm looking at charging $1,000. Does that make sense for this? And I'll be like, hey, maybe go higher or lower, right? And I'll kind of try to guide you a little bit. But
appreciate it.
The other thing that you can do, if you are just doing like bush trimming, or there's like a row of hedges and you're like, I have no idea how long this is going to take.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, could I do, because like obviously you've been out there, but like I try to cut it up into like a quarter a day, half day, or full day. So a quarter. So in a normal 8-hour work day, which is generally what people work, quarter would be 2 hours. It's like, okay, if this is a quarter a day job, you're like, I think it's a quarter day. Ask yourself this question: can I do 4 of these in one day?
Oh, okay. That's yeah.
And if you're like, nah, I don't think I could do 4 of these. This seems kind of like a lot. Well, then that might be closer to a half day project. So 4 hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours on that one. It's like, and then, okay, ask yourself, could you do this job, 2 of them, if you had this job and then you had to go down the street and do another whole other job like this? That's a
great way to put it. That way you can kind of really think about it. Yeah, because that's kind of where I'm at with it. Is like I'll see these flower beds and I'll kind of like Larissa was saying, kind of get in a middle range. But yeah, that's where I get caught up is trying to be perfect with it. So I think that's a great way to put it. Is just quarter day, half day. Seeing if I could do, like you said, 4 of these and then 2 of these. Okay.
Yeah. The other thing too is you should establish a minimum price for you to drive out with your truck, with your tools. So for a while, our minimum was a 1 hour minimum for us to come out for a landscape job, not for mows or anything, but like for a landscape job, for us to have all of our tools and our crew to drive out to you. It's a 1 hour minimum. Now, if there's times where I'm like, this is not going to take even close to that, I will adjust it, just because it's like, hey, I can have my crew in the area, but you should have something that you're like, okay, this is what we'll never go below.
I see what you're saying. So start at a 1 hour minimum. That's a good idea. Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you guys. Next question I was thinking, so something I've been kind of struggling with is I do have these customers, and it I didn't establish I didn't establish early on like a consistent schedule, and I've tried to, but it's just kind of gotten out of hand where it's very infrequent. Like some people want bi-weekly, some people it's very infrequent. So I'm wondering, moving forward, how can I from the get-go create, okay, do you guys want bi-weekly, weekly? Because from now, for what it is now, I'm kind of just like, they text me and I'm like, oh yeah, I can cut it today kind of deal, you know? So do you guys have any suggestions on maybe, what from the get-go creating a good schedule with the customers?
So you said right now you have 10 clients.
Consistently, I would say about maybe 6. I've cut maybe like 15 total, but I think I've had like maybe like 6 reoccurring, so maybe 6
Okay.
or less.
And then how close or far are they from each other? Like, what's your drive time?
Drive time, the farthest would be around 6-7 minutes, so pretty close within town. Pretty close within town. Yeah.
I don't recall what you did in the beginning when you had a lot less, like when you were just starting, because I was working at Aldi at the time and he was handling it. But once I stepped over, what I did is I looked at my service area that we were like, okay, we're going to service this area, this area, this area, and this area. And I broke it down and I'm like, okay, so it makes sense to do these subdivisions together. I have about this many people. And then I can have this many people over here and then over here. And that's where I broke it down. And I don't know if you remember, we would start to call it by the subdivision name and be like, oh yeah, we're doing Silverado today because Silverado was so full. But when we started doing that, it wasn't always just one subdivision in that day. It would be maybe 4 or 5 subdivisions. We just kind of broke it down. And even Salina, now that we're starting over there, we took their general area. We found 2 main streets that go like this. And then there's 4 different corners. We have 4 different mow days. That's when we're in your area. And then as far as bi-weekly and weekly, we did start that way too, of not offering. We could do it however you want, kind of, we in the beginning you're looking to just make sales, and it's just, well, yeah, let me just service the customer on what they need. But then when you continue to grow, you're like, ooh, okay, I need to put some parameters on this. I need to say, okay, everyone's bi-weekly.
Yeah.
And then they were weekly. I even just mentioned this to another lawn care business owner near us. And she was asking me, she's like, man, how do you guys, does everybody leave you when you force them to go weekly? And I'm like, no. You would be surprised how many don't. They say they don't want it, but they adapt to it because the grass is going to need it. We're getting all this rain right now. If they're bi-weekly right now, there's going to be a time where there's 3 weeks they're not going to get mowed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
But I think like in the beginning, I mean, you just need to make ends meet. So if you're taking on one-time mows, that's okay. Like until you get to the point where, hey, maybe you got 20 recurring clients and you're like, man, I'm barely getting them done in the same week. It's like, all right, now I need to start to put some parameters and say, hey, look, we don't do one-time services. We're more of a, we're trying to build a relationship with our clients.
Yeah.
And we want to service you season after season. So, if you give us the opportunity, we'd love to get you on. We have 2 options. We can do weekly or bi-weekly. Which do you prefer?
Okay. Great way to put it. Yeah, because that's all it is at the end of the day. Creating do you find that pretty important, creating like a good relationship with the customers? Because at the end of the day, it's nice being able to talk to the people and help them out and kind of, like people ask, can you just like spray this, I think it's the bottle applicator, and like how much you charge, just doing it for free, stuff like that. So that's kind of where I find the joy in it, is being able to help people. Do you find that in early stage, just creating that kind of customer relationship very important to you? Like how big of a role do you think that plays?
Huge. Yeah. And like so much so that like, asking if you don't have a Google My Business already, like asking them for a review on that, or Bing or Yelp or whatever.
Okay.
And then, or like, hey, can you give us a shout out on Facebook or something like that? Like the more like you own this business, the more, the only way to grow is by letting more people know of the thing that you do. And so that's the thing, more door hangers, more good client relationships to where they're like, wow, River took care of us. He sprayed my rock flower bed last time he was here, and he was only here for the mow, right? Like, that's what's going to build those long lasting relationships. So that way they can refer their friends and things like that.
Understood.
Another thing too, like if you have a couple really good clients that are already appreciating you, you could say, hey, if you can get one of your neighbors to sign up, or someone that's in this service area, maybe they are not a direct neighbor, but if you can get one of your friends or neighbors to sign up, I'll give you a free mow.
Yeah,
That's cool. Yeah. Okay.
It's huge.
Gotcha. No, that's a great idea. And that's kind of the approach I've been taking on these door hangers is on the very bottom. Maybe you guys can critique it or not. On the business hangers, I have refer a friend, get $10 off your first mow or something like that, or even maybe the free mow would have been a better idea because if I can get another customer out of it, that'd be super.
When you think of like a mow, and I don't know what you're charging, but if you're thinking of a mow, it can range anywhere between $30, $45. Depends on the size of the property, right? So that little bit, I mean, it's a lot in the beginning when you're starting. That is kind of a big hit, but when you compare it to the cost of like how much you spent on marketing material, or if you start running like a Facebook ad or anything like that, it really does add up. And so when you think of like, hey, I can give you a free mow, you're spending some time, but it's not a lot of gas money. It's more so the time that you're spending on it, which the time you're going to be spending handing out flyers anyways, you can give out a free mow. Have your customers help you.
Have customers help you. Got it. Understood. Cool. And another question I've been kind of thinking about, kind of on the topic of, like you said, kind of setting it from the beginning, bi-weekly or weekly. How do you feel about what is a good starting point to include contracts and stuff with lawn mowing? Because I feel like now it's a little too early for me to do it, but what's a good idea for a goal for me to start there?
Yeah, great question. So there are companies out there that do contracts. Typically, contracts are more people do it on the commercial side of things. So like if you get like we had Sierra Bank up here, like any kind of that commercial side, there's typically contracts in that. The reason, and there's some people that do it for residential too. I think there's some spray companies out there. The reason why I don't necessarily like contracts, there's good things about it. It does increase the value of the business if they are on contracts and things like that. But the reason why I don't like them is because number one, it creates a barrier to entry. I want to make it as easy as possible for customers to sign up and give me money to mow their lawn. Right. I don't want to be like, okay, well, let me send you a 3-page contract and I need your signature before we can that
I'm sure there's a loophole in anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
The second thing is realistically, all business is relationships and people. And at the end of the day, if we get into business with a customer that we know there's a couple of loose customers out there in the mind that they're just a little erratic, and we've had some weird encounters with some clients. And so,
I've had some already. I know what you mean.
So putting it very nicely, as much as they want the same respect and reliability, we too as owners want the respect. And so I personally don't want to be in a contract with somebody that thinks erratically like that and tied to them. And so I think if we can create win-win relationships where we can, for a fair price, mow their lawn and maintenance it and be there reliably, they can in a fair way pay us, and we're both helping each other. It's a good long-lasting relationship. Let's carry that out and let that be the contract of quality. But there are good reasons for contracts. The good reason is, well, 9 out of 10 times they're pretty much locked into a contract and they're not going anywhere for the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how long you put on that. So, but just, I would weigh those options out.
I like that. Was really well said. And I think because it kind of builds that trust too. It's kind of like you said, relationships and trust too. So thank you for kind of clarifying me on that.
And we like our work to speak for itself.
Exactly.
Right? So like people will ask us on the phone all the time, oh, okay, and then do you guys have a contract? Like, is there any contracts with you? And it's like, no. That's the best part. There are no contracts. You're not stuck in anything. We're not stuck in anything. We want our work to speak for itself. Like, we do our best to make sure we're hiring the right team members on our team and not getting, callbacks on properties. So
absolutely. Okay, awesome. Thank you. And one more thing I was thinking about is I've through this process of bidding lawns and stuff, and I kind of have a general idea, but man, some lawns especially over the phone. Sometimes I've seen kind of the CRM software used. I don't really use that yet. I need to get into that, but I've quoted some lady's yard. Her backyard had a backyard, and she didn't really tell me about it. So I kind of like looked on Google, saw the front side. I was like, oh, easy. It's taking me like 45 minutes, and then I get there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's overgrown, and then literally the backyard had a backyard. So I'm wondering if you guys have any suggestions on maybe, once I give customers a price, maybe doing the first couple mows, I'm glad I got the customer, but what's a good way to be able to introduce like a price increase in a positive way that doesn't really deter them, from like, oh, wow. You know what I mean?
So I do have a question. As far as like quoting the lawns, are you measuring it on Google Maps?
I'm not. I'm actually just getting one of my old PC setups. I didn't even know I had one, but yeah. Would you say
That's
pretty...
some good news.
I know. I was just gonna say. I was like, I know we're recording, but we can play now. So once I get this set up, we can. But yeah.
I would highly recommend measuring the turf over Google Maps, and if that's something that you need to do a video call with me with, we can do that separately because I don't think we can do it on here right now.
Okay.
But I'd be willing to show you how to go ahead and map around the turf square feet because you got to make sure you're subtracting the house and the flower beds and all that. So I can show you how to do that. After that, you pretty much need to figure out like a price matrix for you based off of, and hopefully it'll help you that you did a lot of yards with us too, so you can kind of be like, oh, I remember when we mowed a lot this size, it would usually take this amount of time. Just remember, if you were on a 2-man, you needed to double that time.
Right.
But hopefully that will help you to figure out, okay, based off of how much we want to charge per hour and how long this will take. And being that you're the one that's out there, that'll help you kind of get that price correct. But sorry, I'm sure you want to add to that.
Yeah, I got two things to just kind of directly answer the question. So as far as like when to do the price increase, so there's 2 times I think is typically the best. Number one is on the literal, like for this scenario where you realize that you underquoted them. Yeah. I would immediately, the minute I pulled up, probably ring the doorbell and squash it immediately and as quickly as possible. Okay. Hey, sir, ma'am, like I know I gave you $40 over the phone. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot to ask if it was overgrown. I noticed it is. I just want to let you know that today's service, it will be a little bit more than I anticipated, but I can get you done right now if you're okay with it. So instead of it being 40, it's going to be 60, or if it's really bad, double the price, right? Like you're like, oh man, I'm going to be here for a couple hours. Like, hey, it's going to be 8, like, increase the price definitely. So either A, right off the bat, the minute you realize you made a mistake, just bring it to them as quickly as possible to squash that. Okay. Or I would say after you've serviced the lawn very thoroughly and detailed a few times, and they've seen your quality, they've seen your reliability, they've seen your communication, and they know you do good work, that is the time where they are less sensitive to price increases because they know you show up, they know you communicate, and they know you do a good job because you've done that the last 4 times, 5 times you're there. So now it's like, hey, due to higher demand or whatever, like, the pricing is going up $10 a cut or something like that.
Yeah. Understood. Okay. Yeah, that's really good. And oh man, I remember when we would go to cutting working with you guys, if there was an overgrown lawn, you kind of told us to communicate that to the person and be like, hey, it's not going to look good right now. And unfortunately with this client, I had told her, and like, hey, like you said, it is going to be a little bit more, not substantially, but just a little bit more because it is overgrown. But I hadn't explained to her that it's not going to look fantastic. So I get a call a week later and she's like, dude, I paid this much for lawn and it looks like crap and stuff. And I was like, oh, and I remember like your voice echoing in my head, like tell the customer, like, it's not going to look good for the first couple cuts. So any words of advice on maybe that, or just kind of maybe just establishing it early on, kind of communicating well?
Yeah, the first cut is just never going to look good because when they let it get that tall, even if we double cut it, the grass is it's getting pushed down by the weight of the mower. And so even after you guys leave, or if you blow it, because even I have done overgrown lawns, I've cut it twice and I'm like, oh man, like I did a good job. And then we go back there, we're blowing the clumps, and I'm like, where did all these mohawks and stuff come from? It's just popping back up after. So if you don't blow the lawn, give it 2 hours and that stuff's going to pop up. And that's when the homeowner's seeing it. And that's when they're like, hey, this doesn't look good. It's just because it was so long that the weight on the mower pushes it down. And it's not a great cut.
Absolutely.
Even after cutting twice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wish I explained that to her, but she was.
And I would say too, don't be shy with overgrown fees. Like our overgrown fees, I think are minimum 20, 25 and likely usually $30, $35 too.
Okay.
Sometimes it is double the mow. Like we hardly ever have an overgrown that's less than $20.
Yeah.
So don't be shy with that.
Yeah. And then like same thing. The typically the first time cuts are like the ones that are typically kind of the worst, because especially if they let it go and it's 2 feet tall, like I'm in a weird way, like now that I have some wisdom, I'm like, I don't know if that's the best client to acquire, right? The one that lets it get 2 feet. Like all of our really great clients we pick up pre-spring.
I see.
You know what I mean? So like just understand the type of client that you're acquiring. But it's fine where you're at right now because you need the money to buy the next piece of equipment. And like, I'm not saying to not service them, but just know when you pull up to that property for the first time and it's a foot or two tall, man, I'm getting on the phone immediately before I pull that string, communicating to the client, hey, I totally forgot to ask you about the overgrown fee. It's going to be a little bit more. And then at that point, oh, by the way, just know it's not going to look the greatest, because we're going from 2 feet tall down to 4 inches.
Right.
That's not normal.
It's not. It's not.
And the other thing too is you can use the weed eater first also.
Yeah.
Try and knock some of that down so it's not bogging down the mower as much. But as when you were talking about how long those overgrowns can get, I remember Will and one of our other guys, TJ, did a lawn. The weeds were taller than him.
Yeah.
And this was in a house like
Shoulder
where we
high.
live. Yeah. It was bad. I still have that picture.
Really? Yeah. No, that's great advice. No, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I guess I'm kind of just thinking here. I mean, those are maybe the only other questions I had. Do you guys have maybe any advice for me? You know, maybe aligning with my goals. You know, I'd like to build, like I said earlier, a place to where I can, like I mentioned, a self-sustainable business. I can be able to, you know, say cut a certain amount of lawns at a certain time and then be able to be good for, say, the week or the month or whatever it is. Do you guys have any suggestions on maybe just starting out, maybe getting, like you said, those first 50 clients and whatnot? Any suggestions on maybe for my particular case?
What is your goal amount of clients for this year?
A goal amount of clients this year, I think 30 reoccurring would be phenomenal. I think 30 would be really awesome, and maybe that's shooting for the stars. I don't know. I don't really have a good gauge, but I think 30 would be.
Okay, so 30 reoccurring, and then do you have a goal of like revenue that you're hoping to make?
Revenue monthly, I'm ideally looking at somewhere upwards of 3,000. So if I'm doing 30, then that would be, I think, more than 3,000. But I guess not. I guess I really haven't really worked out a goal for revenue, I guess. So maybe that's something I could work out.
Yeah, and sometimes we have to work backwards too, where it's like, okay, we have this goal, but really what's our end goal? Let's start there and then work our way back to make sure that we're achieving it. Okay. So think of maybe like what your end goal is, not for the end, but end of this year. If that's your end goal, okay, now what are the steps to make sure we get there? What is the amount of money that you need to make? And you know what? June, July, August, May, June, July, August, those are going to be your heavier months for revenue. Yeah. And then even fall, you can still get a lot of leaf cleanups. You still get good revenue there, but it does slow down. So just make sure that you're kind of compensating for that.
Of course.
I'm sure you got a good book you recommend.
I mean, I was looking for one. I mean, generally though, if you're spending, so 500 door hangers, just from the numbers that I know in the area, you're probably going to need to add at least a 0 to that to try and get close to 30 clients. And then, you know, once you do start making a couple thousand a month where you got a little bit of money on the side to kind of put back into the business, the very, very first thing that I would do outside of door hangers is get some kind of signage on the truck.
I did ask him about that. He didn't have a name for it yet.
But that's okay. At least put a phone number on it.
Oh, like, I do. I got the DBA. Did you guys do a DBA when you guys first started? Yeah. Okay, I got the DBA.
Did you get that now?
Yeah, I did.
Nice. Okay, so what's the name?
Good job.
It's just rivers, lawn, and landscaping.
Hey,
Something.
Nice.
but you know what? I kind of like that because it
You know
sounds like rivers, like, and I think of like rivers too, and like
yeah.
landscape. I don't know. It makes it sound like really nice.
Thank you. I'll also send you the logo. And my sister did some flyers and all this stuff. She did an awesome job. So yeah, no, I got all the DBA and all that set up. So now I'm just kind of like, okay, now I have the equipment. I just now have the free time, and I'm just kind of trying to get the clients.
I
So
think I have a book or audio for you to listen to.
please.
So I think my homework for you would be to listen to the 10x rule.
10x rule. Okay.
Yeah, because if you're really trying to grow and then you figure out what your goal is and how to
Mhm.
get there,
Mm-hmm.
this book in a summary is pretty much
Mhm.
going to tell you whatever you think you need to do to get there, 10x it. You got
Oh, okay.
do more.
Mhm.
Do you still have the Audible login?
No, I don't think I ever got set up with it.
I'll send you it.
Please, I love listening. I have ADHD sometimes, so I like moving around and listening to stuff. That'd be really cool.
I
Yeah.
think that would be a good one for him to
Yeah.
with growing.
Okay. Gotcha.
We'll see if we got the book.
We listened to that, and so we used to do like 2,500 flyers and stuff, and then we were like, all right, we're doing 30,000 flyers.
Wow, man.
So I think 30,000 flyers is the most we've done.
Really?
Yeah.
And
But
sorry, go
you'll
ahead.
get there one day. It's not an overnight thing. In the beginning, we did 250 flyers because that did just our subdivision. I think it was 250. Yeah, I think we have 250 homes, so we did 250 flyers. And then when we expanded, we doubled to like 500 flyers.
Got it.
I do want to see your flyer if you have one.
Oh yeah, I'm wondering because I think if I click out of this, then it'll.
Oh, you don't? Do you have it printed or not yet?
No, I do have them printed, but I think one's in my car, and I don't want to.
Oh, okay. No, it's okay. Send it to me later if you don't have one nearby.
I will.
I do want to see it.
Yeah, I will. Thank you. I think that's all the questions I had. But yeah, I got some homework to do, so I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, just figuring it out. I'm so thankful for you guys. Thank you so much for training me and taking this time to be able to sit with me. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Absolutely.
we're available, so that way if you ever need us.
Thank you. Thank you.